is the time to ask me what my favorite recipe is. That's the kind of question we ask in the middle of, during the class when the tide is rolling. And so what I'm going to ask you is to please ask that. A class, I don't remember your name. What is your name?
My name is Gussie.
Gussie. Yes. What a cute name. Gussie, you had a question that I want to address later this afternoon. So let me just say that question is great, big, huge, and it belongs at a later place. But I mean, this is time for tiny questions, tidbits. A tidbit? Well, people are coming in. This is a tidbit. This is tidbit time. Yeah.
Hello. I'm just wondering, why is it on this sort of journey there's a lot more women than men?
I actually can answer that one.
So, thank you.
And I'm right about what I'm about to say. No, there's a difference between being right and accurate. Okay, there's a difference. Accurate's sort of a perception in motion. Right is, I'm just right. And it's got to do with survival. And that's that in this world, remember I said there's two worlds here? In the world we're going into, we haven't yet figured out how to survive. The routes of survival are not clearly marked yet. And so we haven't figured out what our tools are in the world of intuitive occupations, in the world of psychic occupations, in the world of energetic economics. And so, and it's also a world of heart-centered life. And that's the cosmic heart. Because it's not a personal heart. It's something you got to understand here. We'll get that. It's an impersonal heart, but it's a heart-centered. It's the impersonal heart. We don't understand that nature yet. We don't get that. We think everything's personal, and it's not. We take everything personally, and it isn't. So we don't understand how to be emotionally conscious without being personal about it, which is the great challenge of the sojourn in the desert. So, one of the intimidating things about the world we're going into is the confusion of the female and the male. The female, for example, is totally confused about what it is to be a so-called feminist, independent, liberated female, when that's not at all what she really wants. She's still locked up in the tradition. She still, and by that I mean she still wants a hero, warrior man. So long as she wants a hero, warrior man, she still wants that hero, warrior man, but she wants him very sensitive now. But I want him very sensitive. But I still want him the hero, warrior, but very sensitive. So let's be clear here that we'll still have war so long as women want that kind of men. Because that's the women's support of war, is their ideal man, their fantasy man, the soldier. Okay? So that's how women make war, is in their fantasies. So, because a man can't imagine how to be sensitive and male, how to make tough business decisions that equal economics while being emotionally conscious, they can't figure out how to build economics in that world we're going into. It's an economic survival reason. We haven't figured out how to do right livelihood and make a profit. Why? Because we still separate spirituality and money. We still think it's profit goes one way and the spirit goes the other. We still feel guilty earning a living and making a lot of money. We still think that if you make a lot of money, something's wrong with you. You must have a bad character unless you go into philanthropy. Do you get that? It's as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. Except that it's not, but when you look into the deeper complexes of it and how it runs deep, it takes charge of everything. So a man looks at this world and says, how can I possibly make tough business decisions while being sensitive? Because the adage that runs this world, which is business, I gotta make a tough decision here, business is business, won't fly up here. Because here, we have to broaden the spectrum, and guess who sits at the business table with us? The animals, the trees, Mother Nature, they all get a vote in the business decision. Do you think the Koch brothers, those two monsters, or Monsanto, that monster corporation, or any of the other monsters care about what happens in the forest or in the environment when they make a decision? Their whole thing is business is business is business. And let me say that the females that support that don't want to hear anything about sensitivity. There's a whole world that goes along with that. There's a whole industry of life that goes along with that. That's why the majority of the audience right now is women. Because women have never been the high income earners, but if they were, they wouldn't be in the audience right now. It's economics have determined who's in the audience.
So the men are in the practical heart.
Totally, men are in the practical heart. Therein lies a version of, I told you yesterday, make a practical, figure out what a practical heart decision is. That's one of them. I can't afford to be sensitive. There you go. That's it. And if women made a lot more money, they wouldn't be in the audience right away. Because it's not practical to be spiritual. It's not practical to be conscious. How much will it cost to have a spiritual experience? Far too much. It's as simple as that, really. Really. But if I could find a way to market holy water as magic, they'd be waiting in line. And here's proof. My business partner, I don't know where he is. He's vanished. I'll reel him in later. But I met him, this wonderful guy. I met him years and years ago because he and my brother were two like major league capitalists trading at the Chicago Board of Trade. Do you know what that is? Do you ever see that place in the movies where you're going, trading, I'll give you this, that, and the other? All they ever looked like to me was that they were hitting themselves in the head every day, but they were trading what's called treasury bonds, 30-year notes for gold. That's all I understand. It's been explained to me a million times, but after that I go like this, huh? But at any rate, that's what they did. And never have you seen more superstitious people in your life. Because superstition and money go together, and I'm going to hit a pause button and tell you that you are no different. If I come after you, I'll pull out superstition like I could pull your teeth out. Because every one of you, my experience has taught me that you have more faith in your superstitions than you have in any God. This is heathen consciousness down here. This is the pagan in you. And everybody has an inner pagan. And believe you me, you start lighting your candles and listening to these emails, send this, and 7 days later, some sacred drone's gonna drop a miracle in your backyard and some nonsense is gonna happen. You actually believe it. Bury this and chant and say this nonsense and it's gonna happen. You have more faith in that than you do in things you cannot see. Because this is a spell. And this is spell casting is still more real to the pagan in you. So these guys, if they have a run of luck, what is luck? Luck is something that belongs in the first column, but doesn't transfer to your higher consciousness. When you get to the higher consciousness, we start running with the laws that are called synchronicity. Because now you want to start understanding how is it that things actually happen. Luck is for those people who have no idea how things happen. Synchronicity, you actually want to ask, what makes things come together? And now I'll tell you. But if you're so blind that you believe in luck, good luck, bad luck, or no luck, you're someone who runs around the world not knowing. If you want to learn, then you go into the realm of synchronicity, and I will teach you how it happens. They're still in the world of luck. So they put things on because they think things help them with luck. Could it be my shirt? Well, maybe my tie. Maybe my shoelace. All they know is that one day their luck changes and they start making a little bit more money. Well, everybody can have a good day where they start making more money. So a good day doesn't count. But if the good day turns into maybe a good 3 or 4 days, well, now that's interesting, but that's not quite it. But what if it's a good, now we go from days to a good streak, which means maybe 8 or 9 days. Well, now we're talking, because now it's more than just a day. Now something must be working for you. You must have had a bargain with the devil or a bargain with the heavens, or something happened. What'd you do? You must have changed your luck. So now you got to look for the power key. What'd you do? Is it your tie? Is it your shoes? Do you change your shoes? Change your underwear? You didn't change your underwear, that's it. You wear the same underwear every time you go to work. You put on your lucky underwear, but you can't wash it because you might wash out the luck. And if you think I'm kidding you, I am not kidding you. I am so not making this up. And I can make up a good yarn. I am so not making this up. One day, this trader started to live exactly the story I'm telling you. He went from average to and a streak of luck. And of course, once you are making in a good streak, people want to know, what are you doing? And now they want to be your friend. Now they want to hang out, because good luck could be contagious. Certainly bad luck is. Right? Nobody wants to hang with someone who's got bad luck. And this is the way the first chakra superstitious mind works. This is the way you work when you're in your superstitious mind. So don't think this is them. I'm talking about you. But I'm giving an example of them. If I see you behave superstitiously, I know you're in the first floor of your building. You're in your first chakra. And it's the worst part of you. It's the worst part of you. It's your superstitious mind. It's when you believe the worst. It's when someone can put you under a spell. This is when you are able to be spell casted and reeled in by a cult leader. Or by the worst possible thing. This is how Hitler put Germany under a spell. That was it. So what happened was this trader said he was going to work, and he shared his good luck story. There was a homeless man, and he gave this homeless man some money, and that day his luck changed. Well, the next day he gave that homeless man some more money, and his luck still remained the same. And he went, and still he got luckier, and then he got luckier, because he was giving this homeless man some money. So we made a point of every day looking for the homeless man, who was always on Jackson Street in Chicago, right at the door of the west door of the Chicago Board of Trade. And of course, he's giving him more and more money. This homeless man has no idea why he's getting all this money from this trader. All he knows is every morning he's getting more money, And the trader's more happy, and he's making more money inside the pit. And of course, the trader now thinks it's because of this homeless man, who has no idea this is happening or why. So now these other traders, their eyes are sparkling. So where is this homeless man? Well, we know what's coming, right? And then the next day, all these traders are dumping money on this guy. It's raining money on this poor homeless guy they're fighting over. And this original trader is screaming, "That's my homeless man." Swear to God, true story. "That's my homeless man. Find one of your own." I wish I could have been there. God, why did I miss this? It's just too good to be true. But this is the nonsense of how people think. They are so bound by fear and this relationship of, I can't possibly become conscious. I can't, because if I do, I don't know how to control. I need to think I can control the flow of security in my life. Second, I need to be able to lie. I need it. I need to be able to bargain with darkness. And that's something people don't want to give up. That's one of the worst, most challenging things for human beings. They don't want to give up their relationship to darkness. I don't want to be honest. And what you'll discover as you examine yourself, and you examine the journey into yourself and why you end up in the desert, is that you have a really strong bargain with darkness. And how that bargain manifests is that you are in league with a dark part of you that says, "I'm sorry, but I do not trust the light. I do not trust it in any way, shape, or form. The light will not give me what I want. Darkness will." And it's as simple as that. As simple as that. I know how to control my world through darkness, but I do not know how to control it through light. And I will not give up that power. I will not give it up. That's the hardest power for people to finally release, is their allegiance and partnership with darkness. That they cannot release the lie, life in the lie. Can't do it. That they feel safer not telling the truth than telling the truth. For whatever excuse they give, whatever, it is a bargain with darkness. They are in league with darkness. And they trust the consequences of that far more than they do the consequences of light. Yes?
I'm sorry, just going back to
Okay, go. And I hope you're staying on this.
I am. That's what I was trying to get at before when
Yeah.
I know you brought it back to me, which is
Yeah.
right, because what you're saying is what's out there in the collective is, I think what you're saying is what's out there in the collective is in
Yes.
us as well. And what I was trying to ask before was that, because this thing you're talking about seems to be quite prevalent
Everywhere. The word would be
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, and you talk about Monsanto and these big corporations. And
in every individual.
And in every individual. But do you see that as worsening this century? Because, you talked about
I do.
the lack of the moral compass.
I do.
Yeah. So
I do.
I just wanted to ask you, if we're on this, if we are developing this inner heart, but then there's all of this manifesting, this practical, selfish heart, how are we going back? It seems like we're going backwards to me, in a sense. Evolutionary.
Well,
unhumanistic kind of values which are selfish and not caring about.
Okay.
the other.
We never go backwards. But we never go back. I mean, backwards is, but we are deep in the throes of the experience of what happens when we drink our own Kool-Aid. Okay, and we're drunk on our own Kool-Aid. And I think what has happened to us is we've become arrogant. Very, very arrogant. And in our intellectual arrogance, we have defined spirituality as an intellectual journey when it's one of humility. And we've shaped it to match what we want it to be versus what it is. It's not a journey of finding what we want and being happy and fulfilled and all this crap that people put into it, because that's what we want it to be. It's a journey of truth and excavating what is not truthful about us. It's a journey of excavating the illusions in us and discovering why is it impossible for me to be kind to these people? Why is it impossible for me? Why do I, when I'm given the opportunity to tell the truth, tell a lie? Why do I do that? Why do I take things that are not mine? Why do I do that? Why do I say things that hurt other people when I could say things that help other people? Why do I do that? The spiritual journey is about finding out why, what your motivations are, and not blaming other people for them. Stop it. There's only one occupant of your body now, and that's you. That's you. That's you. The spiritual journey is about facing truth. Truth. What is it I believe? How is it I contribute to who I am? Am I an angry person? Do I like my anger? Because if I like it, I got to own that. Do I like being vengeful? Yes, I do. It works, and I use it. And I have to stop blaming other people. I like hurting other people. I'm going to own that and get rid of it, but I have to own it. I don't want to be forgiving. I like making other people suffer. Own it. And stop pretending to be someone you're not. Stop trying to pretend that you're forgiving when you're vengeful. Call it the way it is. And clean yourself out. There's no such thing as trying to be forgiving. That's called being vengeful in the closet. Stop it. Stop it. Own what you are and be done with it. And stop making one of your goals in life to be exceptional and extraordinary. You're not either. Make your goal to be ordinary and get on with your life and stop suffering from trying to find this extraordinary person you will never be. Stop it. And stop punishing your parents for not making you extraordinary or taking away the path of extraordinariness that should have been your life had they loved you more. Stop making things up and torturing everybody for not having the life you thought you should have had, could have had, would have had, if only you'd been born on a flying carpet. The nonsense people believe these days is off the charts. We hold being ordinary in absolute contempt. Make me anything, but don't make me ordinary. Why? Because then no one will notice me. Okay, nobody notices you. Now what? Well, now what? Are you done? Are you done being not noticed? Now go away. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. I need a pill because I'm not noticed. No, you don't. Stop it. Stop it. This nonsense has made us weak and not strong. It's made us cowards and not courageous. We've gone the complete wrong way, and that's why we are what we are. And what's worse is we've decided we don't need any help, that spiritually we could just go it alone. There is no God. Maybe there is. I've decided what it is. It's a goddess. I need a goddess, not a God, and da-da-da-da-da-da. No. The spiritual journey is about truth. Truth. Not argumentative about whether there's a goddess, a god, a blah, 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 blah. One of the most mystical experiences you can ever have is the Hubble telescope. Go look at all the galaxies out there. If you actually think there's a goddess floating all over there versus a god or some off-planet creature with a beard that came from this planet, from this itsy-bitsy tiny little planet, who's floating out there with a Julian calendar announcing to billions and billions and billions of galaxies with billions of stars and billions of planets and billions of who knows how many colonies of life. The only God in this universe was born on that, where is that planet Earth? Somewhere, well, it's down there somewhere. On December 25th. All of you have a December on your galaxies? We've got to stop this. We've got to stop this. These are the mythologies. We all have mythologies. And our myths are lovely stories. But at the end of the day, they're sweet stories. What's the truth of them? The truth is there's a huge divine power, cosmic. And we're all breathing that divine power. But the stories that we were told are stories. The power in them is real. The story is a story. Once upon a time, there were 3 kings. Once upon a time. You see the difference? Just like growing up, once upon a time, your parents yelled at you. Yes, they did. But if you think you really know the reason, you're making it up. You're making it up because you don't know about your parents' childhood. You don't know what they suffered in their own rooms at night as kids. You don't know that. You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there in their nightmares as kids. You weren't there when they huddled underneath their blankets and cried for their parents. You weren't there. So you're making it up. You're making up anything you want to tell yourself. You're making it up. Do you see what I'm saying to you? You're making it up. And at some point you've got to tell yourself, I've made up whatever I wanted to do that serves me. And it doesn't allow any room for them. None whatsoever. There's a big deal here. So it depends on the size you want your heart. So I really would like to go into, okay, so I'm going to put a lid on the questions right now. If you'll let me do that, I'm going to put a lid on the questions. You're going to hold your questions to when I open the floor to questions. Can we agree to that? Thank you. Okay, and I have some of your questions, by the way. You can submit your questions, and I have some on my podium, and I'll get to your questions too. Thank you. Okay. So, what I have to do this very carefully. Very carefully. Okay. What I want to introduce here is this: how to understand the journey of your heart in 3 columns. I want to give you a little bit of an insight into how each of your chakras, how to understand each of your power centers, not as chakras, but as power centers, and how to kind of get, I've taught it through the years in terms of how to understand a chakra, and how to understand the power in your life that a chakra connects to from a health point of view, but never as a heart, never how your higher self or your soul sees the power center. So I'm going to present it in a two-way system. And one is I'm going to present it the way the ego or ordinary part of you responds to it. And then right behind it is the way your soul's anatomy knows the power center. So you can see the contrasting power. So you can see the upper level end. And why I want to do this is that your soul's anatomy, the anatomy of your soul, is that part of you that has the knowledge you were just born knowing. What I said to you yesterday was knowing your essential nature. What is your essential nature? What's your essential nature? And knowing your own knowingness about what you are, who you are, how you are. Just knowing yourself. Okay? Knowing your essential, what you need. This part of you knows what you need beyond what you actually even know. What's in your soul's anatomy, it knows what you need to survive versus survival instincts. Your survival instincts work like this. Survival instincts are like, I walk in a room and I think, am I safe in here? Am I safe in here? Which I get a fire alarm goes off. I'm not going to stand here and think, no, A door, B door, C door. I don't like D door. Which door should I go out of? A door, because I don't think it's windy and my hair will do better, okay? That's not, a survival instinct says, that one, you don't even think. It works faster than you, and that's your first chakra. Your first chakra has a survival gut mechanism, your first and your second, that just engages. It's the part of you that engages. Engages when you, it's a fight or a flight kind of intelligence. It's a fight or a flight. It's the part that just kind of, do you ever instinctively do something and then the rest of you kick in? You know, okay, I just got to do this. I just got to do this. Someone says, I don't know why. I just gotta. Sometimes it's that best kind of thing. Oh my God, I didn't know what you had in your mouth. And for a moment I thought, oh my God, what is... So this is that part of you. This, it looked very, I was like, what the heck? That part of you in your first center is the part that belongs to, that has the data of your roots, of the family you come from, but your soul, and I'm going to put the soul behind it. What your soul radiates is what you need to thrive as a human being. What you need to thrive for health and for balance. So what you need to thrive is that you have to be rooted. You must be rooted somewhere, somehow, into something. So rootedness is essential for every single human being. Now, whether or not you're rooted in land, or with they could be rooted some people are rooted in the military. They move all over the place, but it's their base camp. Because the first chakra's groups like military. You have to have a rooted identification through which your sense of law is first introduced to you. So part of being rooted is that you have a sense of order and structure. And it's really essential. Because one of the things that is very disruptive to a human being is to have a mechanism that says life is all chaos, because it's not. Because it's not. There is chaos, but it's not all chaos. And without being rooted, what happens to a person is that they develop a fear that everything's chaos. That everything's chaos. Okay? And that they become very good at creating chaos. And it's very difficult for people like that to stay in one place. They're wanderers. They oftentimes become wanderers. They oftentimes are people who unsettle things in their life all the time. They may stay someplace, but as soon as things get stable, they can't take it and they turn the tables upside down. It's very, very interesting. As soon as things seem to stabilize, they have to create some kind of disruption. It's an instinctum. It's too calm. It's too stable. Okay? This is, and what the soul needs depth. And what happens is, as your roots go deeper and deeper in a place, and a commitment, you need a commitment to community, and you need a commitment to the earth. The soul needs to feel connected to the living body that is earth. Could you open a door so we can get some air in here? Thank you. You need a commitment. You need to feel some kind of connection to the nature of which you are a part. You are as much a species as you are as anything else. One thing that has not served us is the idea that we are not a species, but rather we study the species, but we are not a species. That has not served us. That has caused us to break from the laws of nature, and it has disrupted our rhythm so that we think we can break the laws of nature rather than be in service to the laws of nature. Do you understand what I'm saying here? That has caused a disruption with our intuitive system, and it has caused us to bring out the barbarian in us. If you look at why there's a rise in the barbarianism, it's because we've broken from nature. You may have a question about that. If you do, put it down and I'll address it later. But it's brought out the worst in us. Okay, it's what's made us the most destructive, is that we think we are not part of the world we live in, but we command the world we live in. Okay, another thing that the soul needs, and here's the journey between what we need and how we live, and it will cause a sojourn in you. So for example, if you are not part of a community, if you don't have a family, if you don't have some place where you feel you belong, yet there's a part of you that wants that, you'll end up in a desert, whether or not you know it, because you must find a way into that kind of thing, because you need it to sustain yourself. Now, are any of you on that sojourn? Okay, now this is what you need to understand. When you're on that kind of sojourn, like when you realize, I need to find a place where I belong. How many of you are on that sojourn? Where do I belong? Okay, this is the first base sojourn. Realizing I need to find where I belong. This is a soul sojourn, matching with what your physical life, with where your physical life is. The wonderment of this is that when a sojourn engages, the soul in you, even though you think, your mind will say, well, I'm waiting for my travel papers. I'm waiting for an actual thing that says, move to Sacramento, California. Move to, West London or something. It doesn't work like that. But here's what's true. Once a sojourn has begun, it won't stop until it brings you to the answer. You're not just wandering, and at the end of it, it's going to go, ha ha. Okay, it's not like that. It's not like that, okay? Once you've started this journey, it always brings you to a revelation point. Always. Always. Your task is to release your itinerary. The biggest block to anything on a sojourn, so like on your first, trying to find where do I belong? Where? Is that I want you to picture that you have a backpack on you. And so that you've started out with this heavy backpack. And while you're asking, where do I belong? What you're really saying is, I'm taking you on a sojourn. And first we're going to Paris. And then we're going to Rome. And I'm going to take you to all my favorite places. And which one do you think I should live at? That's how most people do this the first time around. They go to where they want to be. They go to where they think they should be. They do it their way. Can you relate to this? And then when they come back and say, I just don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. You have to go back into your backpack and say, okay, I have to lighten up now. I have to take out all my belongings. And the next time I see you, the only thing on your backpack should be a meditation book, maybe a journal. And that's it. And that's it. And now you go. And now you go and you get to say, well, where do you want me? It's not where I tell you where to be. Where do you want me? I don't know where. And what the next thing that happens is this, because if you look at the reasons why you want what you want, the practical reasons, you will want these places for only reasons of fear. Because you think you can control things, because you think you'll be safe. It's only for fear-based reasons. Not because you feel like this is where I feel called to be. If we boil down the reasons why you think you should be someplace, most often, I'm going to soften that answer, most often it's because of fear-based reasons. It's what I know from what I don't know. I have contacts there, so I could take my insecurities to their door. They can bail me out. Okay? An event, what a sojourn is about, is oftentimes you facing your fears alone. Like, oh my God, I realize I'm just scared. I'm scared. I'm scared of being alone. And then you wake up and think, I am alone. And I'm doing just fine. And I'm doing just fine. So what if you're alone? What does that mean to you? What's the worst that could happen if you got up every day for 6 months all by yourself? What, do you think your clothes will be on backwards? Do you think you won't get your laundry done? Do you think you'll go hungry? Do you think, what's the worst that can happen to you?